friends. We lost a great artist this week, Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie. We're going to tell you a little bit about Christine, give her a little bit of a tribute here. Christine Ann McVie. She was born July 12th of 1943, died November the 30th of 2022. An English musician and songwriter, and she was principally known as a vocalist and keyboardist for the band Fleetwood Mac. She was a member of several bands in the mid-60s, British blues scene, notably a band called Chicken Shack. She began playing for Fleetwood Mac in 1968, initially as a contract session player before formally joining the band in 1970. By 71, she had started to emerge as a songwriter, with her first compositions appearing on her fourth album with the group Future Games. She would remain with the band, many lineup changes over the next several decades, generally writing and performing lead vocals on about half of the tracks on their subsequent studio albums. Thought she had partially retired in 1998, only appeared as a session musician on the band's last studio album. Say You Will, she released 3 solo albums. Steve Leggett of AllMusic described her as an unabashedly easy on the ear singer and songwriter, and a prime mover behind Fleetwood Mac's biggest hits. 8 songs written or co-written by her include Don't Stop, Everywhere, Little Lies, appeared on Fleetwood Mac's 1988 Greatest Hits album. In 1998, as a member of Fleetwood Mac, McVie was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and received the Brit Award for an outstanding contribution to music. That same year, after almost 30 years with the band, she opted to leave and lived in a semi-retirement for nearly 15 years. She released a solo album in 2004. In September of 2013, she appeared on stage with Fleetwood Mac at the O2 Arena in London before rejoining the band in 2014 prior to her On With The Show tour. Here's one called Don't Stop.
Open your eyes, look at the day. You'll see things in
Fleetwood Mac with Christine. McVie, Don't Stop. In 2006, McVie received the Gold Badge Merit Award from the BASCA, now the Ivors Academy. 2014, she received the Ivor Novello Award for Lifetime Achievement from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors, and was honored in a Trailblazer Award, the UK, Americana Awards in 2021. She also was the recipient of 2 Grammy Awards. Let's talk about her early life. McVie was born the 12th of July, 1943, in the Lake District village of Both, and grew up in the Bearwood area in Smithswick near Birmingham. Her father was Cyril Percy Absol Perfect. That was her maiden name, Perfect. She was perfect. Was a concert violinist and music lecturer at St. Peter's College of Education in Saltley, Birmingham, and taught violin at St. Philip's Grammar School in Birmingham. McVie's mother, Beatrice, was a medium, a psychic, and faith healer. McVie's grandfather was an organist at Westminster Abbey. Although McVie was introduced to piano when she was 4, she did not study music seriously until the age of 11, when she was reintroduced by Philip Fisher, a local musician and school friend of McVie's elder brother, John. Continuing her classical education training till age 15, McVie shifted to a musical force of rock and roll when her brother, John, came home with a Fats Domino songbook. Other early influences included the Everly Brothers. Let's do another hit from Fleetwood Mac and McVie. This was called Little Lies.
But I couldn't find
Lies. Christina McVie, Fleetwood Mac. McVie studied sculpture at Mosley School of Art in Birmingham for 5 years with the goal of becoming an art teacher. During that time, she met a number of budding musicians in Britain's blues scene. Her first foray into the music field came when she met two friends, Stan Webb and Anthony Sylvester, who were in a band called Sounds of Blue. Knowing that McVie had music talent, they asked her to join. She often sang with Spencer Davis. By the time McVie graduated from art college, Sounds of Blue had split up. And because she did not have enough money to launch her own separate art world career, she moved to London and worked briefly at a department store. In 1967, McVie, then known under the name Christine Perfect, learned that her ex-bandmates, Anthony Sylvester and Stan Webb, were forming a blues band called Chicken Shack. They were looking for a pianist. She wrote with them and asked about joining. They accepted her and invited her to play keyboards and piano and sing backing vocals. Chicken Shack's debut released was It's Okay With Me and Baby, and it was written and featuring McVie. She stayed with Chicken Shack for 2 studio albums. During her genuine feel for blues became evident, not only with her Sonny Thompson style piano playing, but also through her authentic bluesy voice. Chicken Shack had a hit with I'd Rather Go Blind, which featured McVie on lead vocals. McVie received a Melody Maker Award for her female vocalist in both 1969 and 1970. She left Chicken Shack in 1969 after marrying Fleetwood Mac's bassist, John McVie, a year earlier, feeling she would otherwise not see her husband as they were busy playing in different bands. Let's do another hit. This one's called Go Your Own Way.
Isn't the right thing to do? How can I ever change things that I feel? If I could, maybe I'd give you my word. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way.
Go Your Own Way, Fleetwood Mac, Christina McVie. A fan of Fleetwood Mac, and while touring with Chicken Shack, the two bands often met, as they were both signed to Blue Horizon. Fleetwood Mac had asked her to play piano as a session musician for Peter Green's songs on the band's second studio album, Mr. Wonderful. Encouraged to continue her career, McVie recorded her debut solo album, Christine Perfect, followed by her success as a member of Fleetwood Mac. The album was reissued under the name legendary Christine Perfect's album. After marrying John McVie, she joined Fleetwood Mac in 1970. She had already contributed backing vocals and painted the cover for Clint House that year. The band had just lost founding member Peter Green, and its members were nervous about touring without him. McVie had been a huge fan of Peter Green era music of Fleetwood Mac, and since she knew all the lyrics to their songs, she went along. McVie went on to become an integral member of the band, another lead vocalist and keyboardist of the group. Their first studio album with her as a full band member was Future Games in 1971, which was also the first with an American-born member, Bob Welch, in place of founding member Jeremy Spencer. In the early 1970s was a rocking time for the band, with revolving doors of musicians and only studio album Bare Trees in 1972 and Mystery to Me in 1973 were successful. Furthermore, the group, impersonating Fleetwood Mac, which later became Stretch, was touring the United States with encouragement from the band's manager, Clifford Davis. The tour collapsed, but led to a protracted lawsuit between Davis and Fleetwood Mac. All right, here's another hit called Everywhere. That's Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie. In 1974, McVie agreed to move with the rest of Fleetwood Mac to the United States. Within a year, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham of the Buckingham Nicks joined the band, giving it that added dimension. Her first studio album together in 1975, Fleetwood Mac had several hit songs, with McVie's Over My Head and Say You Love Me both reaching Billboard's top 20. Over My Head put Fleetwood Mac on American radio and into the national top 20. In 1976, McVie began an on-the-road affair with the band's lighting director, which inspired her to write You Make Loving Fun, a top 10 hit on landmark smash Rumors, 1977, one of the best-selling albums of all time. Her biggest hit was Don't Stop, which reached number 5. Rumors also included McVie's Songbird, a ballad played with just her on the piano, with the Buckingham accompanied on the guitar. Let's hear that hit, Songbird. It is pretty. Christina McVie. Songbird. Beautiful. By the end of the Rumors tour, the McVies were divorced. Then in 1979, a double studio album, Tusk, produced 3 more U.S. top 20 hits. Tusk's Sarah, Christine's Think About Me. But it came nowhere near to matching the success of Rumors album. The Tusk tour continued until 1980, after which the band took time apart. They reunited in 1981 to record the studio album Mirage in a studio in France. The album, released in 1982, returned the band to the top U.S. charts and contained top 5 hit Hold Me, co-written by McVie. McVie's inspiration for the song was her tortured relationship with Beach Boys drummer Dennis Wilson. Her song Love in the Store became the 3rd single from the album, peaking at number 22 in the early part of 1983. Let's just listen to that one. Love in the Store. Love in the Store. Not familiar with that one that much, but thought it'd be fun. So that's the one that she wrote by inspiration of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. Recorded in 1984, her second studio album, Christine McVie, included the hits Got a Hold on Me, number 10 in the U.S., number one in adult contemporary, and number one on the mainstream rock tracks. And Love Will Show Us How, number 30 on the U.S. pop. And third single, I'm the One, was released but did not chart. McVie was quoted in a Billboard book of number one adult contemporary hits as saying of her studio album, "Maybe it isn't the most adventurous album in the world, but I wanted it to be honest and to please my own ears with it." McVie also met keyboardist Eddie Quintanilla, whom she married in October of 1986. Quintanilla went on to co-write many of the songs with her and featured on subsequent Fleetwood Mac albums. She rejoined Fleetwood Mac to record Tango in the Night studio album, which went on to become the band's biggest success since Rumors 10 years earlier. The biggest hit from the album, which was top 5 in both the UK and the US, was McVie's Little Lies, which we played earlier, co-written by Quintanilla. Another McVie single from the album, Everywhere, which we played earlier, reached number 4 in the UK. It would be the band's third highest ever chart peak. It peaked there, and her final top 40 hit up to date was a single that peaked number 14 in the US. And in 1990, the band, now without Lindsey Buckingham, recorded Behind the Mask. But the studio album only reached gold status in the US, and only McVie's song, Save Me, made it to the US top 40. The album did enter UK charts at number 1 and reached platinum status there. The second album in the US released from the album, McVie's Sky is the Limit, did not make the main US charts, but hit 1 in adult contemporary. Let's listen to that one, Sky's the Limit.
If I feel acting just a little strange, and you have no
Christine McVie, Sky's the Limit. Upon the death of her father, Cyril Perfect, while she was touring behind the masks, McVie decided to retire from touring. Despite the departure of Stevie Nicks, McVie remained with the band, writing and recording new tracks. Love Shines for the 1992 box set, 25 Years, The Chain. 5 songs of the band's 1995 studio album, Time. After Fleetwood Mac, John McVie and Buckingham got together for one of Buckingham's solo projects in the mid-1990s. She was asked to sing and play on some of the tracks. Then the four decided a full reunion was possible, and Nicks joined them. In 1997 live album, The Dance, reached number 1 in the U.S. album charts. Despite her reservations, McVie compiled with the band's touring schedule and performed for the group's 1998 introduction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as well as the Grammy Award show and the Brit Awards in the UK. McVie later revealed in the 2014 Rolling Stone interview that she had developed a phobia about flying, which was later treated in psychotherapy. And this phobia was one of the reasons she decided not to continue with Fleetwood Mac after 1998. Here's one called You Make Lovin' Fun. You Make Lovin' Fun, Christine McVie. Now that one was inspired by the lighting director that she had a relationship with. So, You Make Lovin' Fun. Thank you, Christine. Let's talk about Christine's death. After a brief illness, McVie died in a hospital on November 20th, 2022. At age 79, her death was announced by her family through social media. Fleetwood Mac said in a statement following her death that she was the best musician anyone could have ever had in their band and the best friend that anyone could have ever had in their lives. Co-Fleetwood Mac band member Stevie Nicks called McVie her best friend, and in the whole world, a statement following her death, the best friend in the whole world. Thanks for tuning in to this memorial, Christine McVie. We remember you, love your music with Fleetwood Mac. Rest in peace, Christine. God bless. Tom Kaz out.